This room will look familiar eventually. We're going to be back here at some point. There's a red wizard here.
That black portal before us. It is not something native to our world, or even the realm of dreams.
It began here. I stood at the betrayer's side, at my brother's side. They were gathered around us, celestials, dragons, mortals, both alive and dead. Did the room expand to hold such a host, or is my memory too small?
So apparently he was part of the original Betrayer's Crusade, and we recognize him as Ahriman. I don't know how we recognize him as Ahriman. We've never met Ahriman before.
I was not always a red wizard. The last time I laid eyes on that door, I was nothing but a younger brother, the shadow of a better and wiser man. We stand before the Betrayer's Gate, a door that should not be. Rest your eyes upon its edges and its grooves. Watch them carefully, and you can sense the wrongness. Death and life flow together in that simple slab of rock. Pass through it, and you will see the place of final judgment.
And, okay. You can say from the play earlier that you met 3 generals who said they would await the opening of the gate. Is this the gate they're talking about?
Yes. My brother's generals await his return as he commanded them. They wait in vain. My brother cannot return. He is gone.
Okay. Let's see if we can get him to talk a little more intelligently, or at least clearly.
My brother opened the gate with his silver blade. He was obsessed. I swear to you, if I could take it back, if I could make him see.
Sophia? No. Wait, it only seems to be her. It's so close. So...
You? Make him see? Ahriman, you flitting shadow. You are nothing but a leaf born by a great storm.
And the line I'm choosing is, this dream gets stranger and stranger.
Ahriman, why do you hunt me? You would destroy everything your brother strove for, render his sacrifice meaningless.
Not to destroy, to set things right. How could I choose my brother over my god? Yes, I was a feeble, flitting thing when I passed through that door. I was born by my brother's storm, but I learned from his folly. He set mortal love above the gods, so he paid the price. And we paid with him, you and I.
Be cautious. I think choosing one over the other will lead to bloodshed in this dream.
I don't know if blood in dreams really is functional, but okay. So, Gan's recommendation is not to take sides. Okay, well, so we'll choose the not taking sides option.
No, he wouldn't.
What my brother desired, how can that matter? My brother wanted to uproot the plains and tear down the gods from on high. Suffering cannot be avoided. It can be minimized, yes, but the universe cannot be torn asunder for the sake of one soul.
Alright, and the last option here of, no greater ideal than love, we just do this for Gan's
Love may
influence.
care for itself in its own way, ideal or not. But anything that makes pretender gods fume and rant warms my heart.
Spoken like the betrayer himself, always selfish, always believing that his dreams were grander, that his loves were stronger and not to be denied. And she is selfish too. She sows suffering in love's name. Let the heavens fall and roast in the pits of hell. If love was served by such as this, she would care not.
I guess he just cast mirror image, but we're gonna have to fight him. So, let's just, pull out the big guns. And, well, that killed one of them. Or 2 of them, actually. Okay. Well, that wasn't very hard. And love overcomes as it always must. Yes, a noble sentiment. Gan says that the meaning of this dream eludes him. Yeah, it eludes me too, but there's some backstory that we're learning from it, so even if we don't know the meaning, we're still getting information. Going back through the portal. For our next ridiculous little adventure, we're going to talk to the Mind Flayer and travel to his prison. Talking to him, you can either rescue him or slay him. I'm going to rescue him. I don't know why, but I can. And the point, more or less, is that there's another guy wandering around here who is essentially, playing tag. So you have to and he's just moving around randomly. So you just have to, in this case it was easy. And we can leave. That gave us enough XP to gain a level, so I'm going to do that off screen and then go through this next portal in the Coven area. Well, this is definitely a strange area. There's not much here that we can interact with, but there's a wall, and presumably this is in fact the Wall of the Faithless. And over here is Bishop. Bishop is a character from the original campaign. He was an evil ranger. He wasn't a particularly useful character. I think some people actually did sort of like him, but I found him kind of boring, frankly. Just for the record, I chose an actual level of Spirit Shaman, so I have up to my level 8 Spirit Shaman spells. I could have held off for a little while longer to wait for the level 9s, but the only one level 9 I really care about is Storm of Vengeance, and I don't really care about it that much. Enemies that are going to be affected substantially by Storm of Vengeance are things that I'm going to be able to kill, and frankly the fight against Oku and the fight in the Berserker Lodge are where I would really wanted it, and it's too late. So I'm just getting some of the spells so that I can make use of them, and I'll take 3 more levels of Eldritch Knight before I take the next level of Spirit Shaman, because that'll be the level 20 of Spirit Shaman casting. So let's have a chat with Bishop. And he just sort of calls out to you.
The man you knew as Bishop lies encased in a quivering greenish mold. His limbs are twisted at odd angles, as if they are broken. His face, frozen in a grimace of pain, barely clears the surface of the wall, like the face of a drowning man gasping for air. His eyes meet yours, and you realize that all the color has drained from his hair and his flesh. One of his eyes is completely white and bulging.
Well, there are a couple of possibilities for what would happen at the end of the original campaign. Some of your companions actually turn sides if you're evil, if you're good and you're fighting against them as evil, depending on how much influence you have with them. Bishop is one of those likely ones that, since I was a good character, I probably killed. So, yeah, okay. And you can also just be ambivalent about it and just say that he's gotten himself into a predicament.
What? This wall? I knew where I was going when I died. Oblivion is a finer bedfellow than most. Though on a cold night, with a roaring campfire, and no words, I might allow for 1 or 2 exceptions.
Who is this one? He speaks as if he knows you.
And where's dear Casimir? Have you already traded up for this hag-spawned wretch? Or did you leave the paladin under a pile of rock as well?
Casimir was the love interest for female characters in the original campaign, though they really did not do very much with the romance subplots. As I've mentioned, I don't really care for them anyways. And we can say that Gan means a great deal to me.
And she means a great deal to me. But in a currency I think this one would find rare. But I imagine genuine feeling would surprise this phantom.
Of course he does. He's male, presumably willing, and convenient. Guard your black heart, hag spawn. This wench jumps from man to man like a pox.
At once, the wall shudders, convulses. The twisted figures trapped within cry out as one as the entire wall shifts. Limbs shudder, bones crack, and the greenish mold expands, covering faces, eyes, and mouths. The smirk leaves Bishop's face, replaced for one naked moment by wide-eyed fear.
Can you hear it? In the screams. Underneath the screams. The reason you're here. They all know.
Well, this is a dream.
No, listen to the shrieks and the moans. It's not in the sounds themselves. It's in the pattern, lurking in the echoes, hidden behind their words. They're infected with hope, waiting for the crusade to return.
And you can use wisdom to say, I hear something. Either that or you're crazy.
Bishop's one good eye loses focus. It seems to look through you, beyond you. The screams and cries of the other souls become quieter, as if they are suddenly listening to his words.
It ended here. This wall. It hungers. It drains everything away.
And that's a different voice.
For a moment, Bishop's eyes seems to clear. He looks at you, takes in your face, as if for the first time.
You. I saw you. Here. I saw you in the wall.
I've never seen this wall before.
Yes, you're right. It was someone else. You're a mask. Nothing but a mask.
The wall shudders again, and you hear a sickening crack as Bishop is drawn further back into the wall. Green mold rushes in to cover his face and bursts forth from his mouth in a noxious plume.
He's seen you. The god of the dead. They're coming.
Again, the god of the dead. There is some game being played here, with ancient rules.
They're coming.
Anyway, there's a horn devil and a pit fiend here. Both of these are spellcasters, so I'm going to cast a lesser spell mantle, just to get something up to have some defenses. And then to start pummeling them with the good old-fashioned Greater Missile Storm, which works just fine. They're not very difficult. There's the Pit Fiend. I don't actually remember if Horn Fiends and Horn Devils and Pit Fiends are both devils or if they're both. I assume they're both devils, but I really don't know my blood war that well.
Speaking falsely, but I think it may benefit us to examine the section of wall where your friend used to be.
Okay.
The noxious green mold has closed over Bishop's face and head. One of his hands still protrudes from the wall, contorted around an object that lies half buried in the mold. You dig into the mold around Bishop's hand. The surface is soft, feathery, like moss, but underneath it becomes firm, with hidden barbed edges capable of tearing flesh or holding it fast. At last, the object comes free. It is a piece of a mask, pale and maggot gray. It drinks in the light, as if hungering, but reflects none.
This is a rare thing. A fragment of a mask, but it can exist outside the dreaming. I do not know if it is good to take or not. I have never taken something from the dreaming into the waking world before. I have never been strong enough.
Well, always first time. I'm going to cut this video short here and see you next time when we will finally have our little showdown with the Coven.